Morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of our live show podcast, Seen and Heard.
Hello, everyone. Say hi to us in the chat, please, if you're here. Today, with us, we have Tea, who is going to tell us a bit about herself.
Hi everyone, welcome to Seen and Heard. My name is Diana Jupan. I'm an online reputation manager. I have been dealing with online reputation since 2012, uh, when most of the companies didn't even know that they have online reputation. And today that has become even more important and one of the major marketing strategies for 2026. So stay tuned and I will share with you a couple of more details how you can achieve your visibility in Google in AI tools.
And
Sure.
is the reputation only for Google, or how does it look like? Where can we build our reputation online?
Well, basically, you can build it everywhere because today it's not only about Google, it's about LinkedIn, it's about YouTube, it's about Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, everybody. But there are some of the channels that are more important, like where you are listed and recommended as someone who provides that service. For example, I call it piggybacking on somebody who has better authority than you. Then there is your web page, which is your source of truth. And all of those signals basically impact what is shown on Google and in recommendation when somebody asks about you, your brand, or the services that you offer. So basically, it's everywhere.
So, where should we go first?
First, well, I always say if you have a web page, then you need to fix your web page. Why I say fix? Because most of us still have the web pages done for clicks. We don't have it for zero click marketing. And we don't have it set up for the large language models to pull their data from our web pages. So this is the first thing that I always tell my clients, okay, this is the major point that we need to tackle. So for example, how you write about yourself. When you see about us page, and then on about us page, you only have mission, vision, statement. You don't have anything about us. How can I know who you are? How can I trust you? Because now everything is also related to the trust. We have come into the economy of trust. You need to build your trust signals in order for Google and AI to recommend you. And if you don't write anything about yourself on your web page, they don't know what you do, for whom you do it, why they should recommend exactly you, what it is so different and special about you. So this is one of the first things that we do. The home page, about us page, frequently asked questions. They are not part of Google rich texts anymore. So this is, when you have a link, and then you have below that link, you have different smaller links linking to that page. For example, about us, prices usually for some pages. Frequently asked questions is not tackled there anymore, but it's still very important because there you can already answer the potential questions of your clients. So this is one of the big things that not everybody has on their page, and reviews, because when you now ask Google for anything. For example, last week I Googled the best family hotel in Austria. And what it did is basically it pulled the data from various sites, but also for the hotel, it says their previous guests say this about the hotel. So it pulled it from the reviews. It goes the same for e-commerce because I was looking for another thing for vacuum cleaner. And it also, so I didn't ask give me reviews for the vacuum cleaner. I asked, okay, which one is very strong, pet friendly, and silent? And it gave me a summary of reviews from Molhire, from Trustpilot, and from other pages. So this is how the search has changed. It basically picks on reviews from different sites in order to have a clear picture. Is this for you? And what did other people say about this product or this service? So those are the first things you need to do. And basically, if you don't have reviews, you need to start working on them now.
What if the reviews are 2 thumbs up, best teacher? How does that translate?
It is a signal, but it's not good enough signal. Why I say this? Because
What do you mean it's not good enough? Best teacher. What's wrong with that?
because it doesn't give enough information. You know,
Okay.
how Google and AI rank your reviews. For example, they are about 15 to 70% of ranking signal for Google. So it's a lot, when you consider everything that they take into consideration for reviews to have between 15 and 17% impact, it's a lot. But not all reviews are equal because there is a ranking, and having a review with a video is the best possible way because you cannot fake it with AI. It gives you real person to person. Still, you cannot fake it good enough for the AI. I see Darko shaking his head, but that's how they rank it because they can go through the material similar as they go through YouTube video in order to pick up what's been said. Then it's image and bigger description. Then you have only description, and then you have thumbs up. So if you have a star rating, it's fine, but it's not good enough anymore. So you need to have an description of what it is that you have done for this person or your product. How is it different or why is it good? For example, if you are a provider of service for translation, and for you, it's very important that your future customers know that you are good on deadlines, that you're fast, but you're also precise. So those are the things that you want to be mentioned in reviews for. For, let's say, for Darko as a photographer, you want to be mentioned that you deliver excellent materials on time. Your photos are not too photoshopped, for example. Things that matter to you and to your service, this is what you need to have in the reviews.
So we need to
Okay,
ask
so
questions.
and have detailed description of it.
Yes, yes. There is something that's called guided reviews because most of us have been doing the asking of reviews in the same way, a bit lazy, or we didn't know before what it takes from us. But most of us would send a WhatsApp message or maybe an email. If you're pleased with our service, please leave us a review. This is a link. Today, that's not good enough because you will not get from that review most of it that you need and that you want from the review. But if you frame your review, ask for a review in a way that you put it as they are doing you a service, which actually they are. Um, and if you write what's in it for them, because people are mostly, 99% of people are altruistic, they want to help people. So if you write, for example, your feedback would help everybody else who is looking for a similar service to make a better decision and to see if I'm the good choice for them. So can you please write about your experience? How were you? I always put in something that matters to me. How were you satisfied with, for example, with consulting? Did you receive all the needed data? How did you like the documents? Things that matter to you, you put it in a question and you guide them. You will not write instead of them. I do not advise that. But you will also make it easier for them because sometimes they want to leave you a review, but they don't know what to say. And then they start thinking and they say, "Oh, this takes too long," and then they give up.
And
But
then they
if you
just
give,
say best teacher. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. or 5 stars, just 5 stars. That's enough. But if you give them, a framework and you give them a couple of questions, what I did basically for my consulting part is I basically wrote, let's say, 5 sentences, and they were all in a pose of questions, and basically people just answered it. So I got the review that mattered to me, that mentioned my unique selling points and what my service is about and what I am about. So this is how you should ask reviews now in order to get what's important for both SEO, even though everybody says it's dead, it's not, but also for the AIs to pick up on the recommendations.
Now I have an additional question about guiding the people
Sure.
to do the review. But first, let's say hello to Nella. Nella is here. So, hi, Nella. We always love to welcome our viewers to help with the interview and ask some additional questions, or either just say hello. So, what I wanted to ask is. You said that video reviews are all the rage now, and we need to get more video reviews. So, how
Yeah.
can we guide people to leave us video reviews and to tell exactly what we would like them to tell on that video? As I find it quite hard to tell people, okay, create a video for me.
Yeah, but for videos, it's easier if you have a physical location,
Okay.
because then you can do it like a sort of interview. For example, for you as a photographer, once, let's say, I finished my headshot 30 minutes with you. After I finish, you ask me, okay, can we make a video testimonial? I will film you on my or your mobile. I will ask you a couple of questions, and then if you like it, you can publish it as a review, or I can give you the rights and you publish it on your web page. So it's easier when you do it like that. But also, if you do it online, you can also do it, for example, at the end of the education, at the end of some course that you do. But you can also send them a link where you film yourself. I mean, Darko, you do it really well when you welcome people that connect with you. You are very original, and you send me a video welcoming me, thanking for connection. This is one of the things that you can do also for the video testimonial. You can send a video, uh, explain to them. You always do it with people who are maybe better acquaintances of your services, with whom you have maybe made a better relationship, and they're more open to talking about it. But yes, I would advise do it on spot, but if not on spot, then do it like a sort of interview.
Okay, okay, makes sense. And another thing that I noticed now that you started talking about it, it is always a dilemma when actually to ask for a review, testimonial, or anything. And from what I hear you say, it's at the end of the service before
Yes.
the money transaction comes, or after, somewhere in that time period.
It really depends on what is your payment status, if you are asking for prepayment or after. But I would always say that you do it after you finish your service or job or selling. Usually, what I recommend to people, for example, my client, they're a physiotherapist clinic, and I advise them to do it upon finishing the treatment, maximum 2 days, because it needs to be fresh in the mind of people, and they still need to connect you to the good things that you have done. So I would say, let's say maximum 2 days after you finish your service, your selling. And then if they don't respond, I usually send one reminder, let's say 7 days after. But after, if they don't even respond to that, then I don't send a third one, because it doesn't make sense to be pushy. You know that some people are very busy, they forget, they don't feel comfortable. So it's okay to remind them once, but more than that, I wouldn't do.
What about the location of the reviews? Is it Google reviews that are top of the line? Should we have reviews in multiple places?
Yes, Google reviews are always top of the line because of the power of Google itself. So, and because it's very easy to do them, because you basically have a QR code on your Google Business profile or your link, which you can send to customers to use. So it's very easy for them. And because most of us, we have smartphones, we always have Google accounts. So it doesn't take a lot of effort from us to leave your review because I'm already connected on my phone. That's why I recommend, if you don't have anything, start with Google. It's the easiest way. It's easiest for you and for the others. What it isn't great about Google, it's not verified purchase, it's not verified usage. So you know that people are sometimes skeptic about it because you don't know if it's real or not. It's not based on real transaction. So anybody can leave a review for you, your friends, your family, and so on. That's why I say, okay, first start with Google. It's easiest to do. Then go to the pages that are relevant for you. If you have a small villa to rent, you go to Booking because it's verified purchase. Then you have also Trustpilot. You have Clutch Co. You have Vault, Glovo, depending on what it is that you do. But also for B2B businesses, LinkedIn. Also, because you're on LinkedIn, you can also leave the reviews for services, not just the recommendations of your past colleagues, but you can also have a review for your services, and then also your web page. So I would, let's say, focus on two or three for 3 months at least, and then see what it is doing for my online reputation. Check what has been said before versus now, and see, okay, if I need to transfer to another channel. If it's working, great, keep doing it. If you need more, then look, let's see which other channels are important for us.
Does it make sense to ask the same people to leave a review on multiple channels?
I wouldn't do,
No?
especially not in one email, no, because uh, we people are lazy, and you don't want to give me too many choices. Give me one link because you need to focus on one channel at the moment, right? So, for example, you want me to leave a review on Google, but if you send me an email with Google, with LinkedIn, with Clutch, with Trustpilot, it's higher probability that I will not do anything because I will feel overwhelmed. I see 5 links. Give me one link. Give me what it is exactly that you want me to do. It's better choice.
Okay, but what if we have some very enthusiastic customer who wants just to talk about us everywhere possible? How does it look from the side of the people who try to find your service from that side? Is it good to have the same people posting reviews on multiple sites, or it's better to be just one per
I,
reviewer?
I would I wouldn't recommend doing it on both sides unless that person is clearly marked as your brand ambassador. Because we people have become very suspicious, and if I see one person talking about you everywhere, people will think, oh, this is paid, this is not sincere. They will not immediately think, oh, it's a very enthusiastic user of your services. So I would not recommend it. If you do it, I would, clearly state in that this is not paid, but I'm the ambassador because I have been doing work with them. I really like them. It needs to be very clear. And also, for example, some of the companies that I do work with, they have verified purchases. So when you leave a review for their web page, it says it's a verified purchase. But you also need to say if it's incentivized, if you gave them something for it. So this is something that Google strictly forbids, for paying for reviews, for incentivizing them. So there are a lot of strict rules, and if they catch you, you can lose both the reviews and Google Business Profile. So that's a huge, huge signal for you to go down. But on your own web pages, you can have incentivized reviews. So,
Okay.
for example, I ask for a review or recommendation from somebody, and I give them, let's say, next treatment for free, or I give them 10% on next service. If they do it like that, it needs to clearly be stated on your page for that review that it was incentivized. That's due also to Omnibus Directive for EU regulation.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to ask. Is it a good idea to give them either discount or some presents or something? So it needs to be stated there. Okay, this
Yeah,
review was helped by this discount, and this is it.
yes. If you do it after, and if you don't put do it as a request. I had a customer, she was a hairdresser here in Zagreb. So we put a QR code on the mirror in front of the customers because we noticed that when you leave, when you are leaving, you are either paying or making an appointment for next time. So you are not focused on leaving a review. It's too much information. So we decided, okay, why not put it on the mirror? Basically, when they show you front, the back, are you satisfied? Yeah, great, I'm satisfied. So here is the QR code. You can scan it. And we gave everybody who left the review, we put it in the CRM, and we gave them afterwards. They didn't even know because it was, like a token of thank you. After that, we gave them scrunchie, silk scrunchie. So it was not incentivized in a way that you are giving them this for this. We just, okay, gave them thank you for leaving the review. Here is a small token of gratitude. In that case, if you don't put it as transactional, you don't have to say it. But if you are giving something, for example, there was a company, they were giving out thermos bottles for everybody who left the review. You had to, for those kind of reviews, have a note that it was incentivized.
So you can give a chocolate afterwards, not before. And you can't tell
Yes,
them that they'll get a chocolate. But they can
true.
tell each
Not
other.
not not as a condition.
Okay.
Am I getting the chocolate?
Not today, no. It might
We can
be
get
a
a review,
surprise
so
down the
no
line.
chocolate for you. No.
Okay, I will leave you a
But
review.
once the review is up there, who knows? Perhaps.
Maybe even an ice cream. Yeah. You wanted to ask me something, Edita, sorry.
I was going to ask the obvious question that I think everyone's thinking of, and that's the AI tools. Where do they scrape from? What should be thinking
Why is this
about now?
obvious? It's not obvious.
It's obvious to me. Maybe it's my bias.
No. First thing I noticed was the magic word CRM. Where does AI come here? I just heard hairdresser CRM. AI. Okay. We need to talk about
And
AI. Okay.
I don't think it's a topic, Darko, that you can, just skip these days. Uh, we live in this day and age where we basically have first seat rows to the evolution of AI and everything that we only read about in the books. Um, Different LLMs work differently. Not all of them scrape their data immediately from live pages unless you ask them. So this is sometimes that what people forget, especially at the free versions. If you don't instruct them, look for the online sources, they will not do it. They will go firstly through everything that they have been uh, taught basically during that learning process. Now Gemini will do it before you ask it. ChatGPT basic version, you need to ask it. And Perplexity is always going to pull it because it's that kind of model because it uses citations. So I like to use Perplexity basically for every time when I'm researching a topic, because immediately I will have the citations and sources in Perplexity. So it gives you immediately um, a sense if this is a viable or reputable source for you, or this is something that it got picked up. Because when AI started being talk of the town, you had people like, but you always had it in Black Hat SEO. They noticed, if you do listicles, like for example, 20 best photographers in Croatia, and if you put it somewhere on the web page, you're going to be featured in the AI response. But now even the LLMs have become much smarter how they do it. They basically scrape from everywhere. But there are some of the pages that have more credibility. For example, YouTube and LinkedIn. It was Reddit also before, but Reddit now has dropped in some of the cases because it's not the same for every LLM. It's a bit different. But let's say that for both ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, I haven't done a lot with Copilot, so I cannot say about Copilot, but they use LinkedIn, they use YouTube, they use Reddit, and they use Google itself. Because I don't know if you noticed, both in ChatGPT, uh, on the bottom, it says expand the search on Google. But Google has done a 360. Some say that it killed the internet. For example, I think it was Forbes or Business Insider. They said, Google just killed the internet. Because Google, after 25 years, changed how their search looks like. It became AI powered. First, we had AI overviews, and it started with, let's say, 25% of usage between September and November last year to 70 to 80% this year. I don't know if you've noticed, when I Google, I don't think for the last month I had any search that didn't have AI overview short summary. I don't know about you if you noticed that, but that has become, the trend.
I,
They push
I have
everything
very
there.
stupid search terms, so it doesn't show all the time. So
No,
yeah,
really.
if you ask it like a normal person, yeah, it probably does.
Yeah, because when I ask anything, for example, I was looking for a contact from Electra to cut down the branches around our wires, and it gave me the AI overview. Like, okay, why do I need the AI overview? Just give me a link to contact, but it basically lists you all the contacts and different, regions. So what were you looking for? Because I didn't specify for Zagreb. So it gave me a list of all the contact numbers. But
And all the
now,
trees that could be cut or not cut, and all the history of cutting the trees and electricity problems with it. Yeah, I'm sure.
and what do people recommend to do when you need to cut the trees?
Oh, that's a good one
That
also.
also comes up. But no, it started, we noticed it with Google Maps. So, for example, there is more and more AI usage in the maps. Basically, it now even recommends you. Did you think this? What about this? Do you want to do this in Google Maps? For example, if you're looking for sushi in Zagreb, they will give you a lot of suggestions, not just the places that are
There are
near
not a lot of
you.
options. That's why you don't get much suggestions. What should they talk about?
But true, but when you, for example, go to bigger markets, when you go to bigger cities and you look for services, it gives you an AI summary. Ask AI. There is actually an option, Ask AI. So it started with Google Maps, and there is a number that basically blew my mind. That there was a research from Google itself that AI mode usage number after 1 year, based on search data and Google Trends, is 1 billion monthly active users globally. So it's a huge
Yeah,
number
well, they
for AI
force it
mode
because
usage.
it's the first thing that you see when you search something, so it's automatically AI.
Yes, but also the way we search changed. I put in now much longer questions. I ask for context. I don't ask anymore for, I don't know, snow boots. I give them specification. I want this kind of snow boots, this, and this. So this is how I talk to Google now, and most of the people are now also uh, talking like that. So it's more conversational now, the search. But also, what's interesting that we spend in those kind of answers, we spend 3 times longer than in traditional search. So this was for me strange, because when they started doing AI overviews, it was, like, we people are becoming lazy. We don't want to have 10 blue links, and then we need to enter each and single one of them to see if our answer to the question is in there. So they gave us overviews. So I thought, okay, now you gave us overviews. I have everything in there. I'm going to be quick. But instead, I'm spending 3 times longer than in traditional. And what they attribute that to is basically when you get your answer, you also get links, but you also get follow-up questions. So you spend a lot of time also in the follow-up questions or in the famous dive deeper with AI. So they're, keeping you longer in the search, in a
And very
way
soon
trying to
on
answer your
sponsored
question.
links.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be featured in Google Maps today, you need to have either a really, really, really good local SEO and a lot of reviews that are coming in all the time, or you need to pay for your visibility. I mean, it's the way that it's moving both for Google but also for LLMs. We have buy this now from ChatGPT, so it's coming. Everything is transactional, especially for Google.
Yes, they need to live from something, so they need some money. Okay, so as an option to pay for it, what are the free options? How can we get in the LLM answers? From what I know, and you said it also, YouTube is a good thing to start. Also, to be SEO, to have a SEO friendly website. From I've seen before, Clutch is also very
Yeah.
popular in LLMs as a reference point. Uh, we need to be as much as possible present in these places.
Yeah, it's about being omnipresent, but it's also about consistency. You cannot describe yourself in one way on Clutch and in another one way on your webpage. So if you say on Clutch, you say innovative solutions, but on your webpage, you give very precise uh, explanation. I don't know, continuous
Traditional
temperature
technologies and
temperature
so
monitor.
yeah.
No. But if you say, for example, on one you say innovative solutions, and on the other one you are very precise. You say continuous temperature monitoring sensor patch. It's very different, and you have to think that you don't confuse both Google and AI. So your message needs to be same on every channel. Then uh, if you have your web page, your content needs to be structured in a way that every single paragraph answers a question. So it needs to be as a standalone content. So, for example, why should I hire Darko to take my photo? And Darko answers below that you should hire me because I do this, this, and this, and this. Then,
So
for
basically, we
example,
need to write our pages, web pages, in FAQ style.
similar to that, but to have context, because you're still writing for live people. People forget, I need to have it optimized for Google, I need to have it optimized for AI. Yes, but you need to write for people. So I say that the content is for the people, but the structure is for the machines. So you would write it for people to understand it, but also for machines to understand it. I also like to have an answer to my question. So it's not dissimilar to how you would write it. But, instead of having a huge block of text on your page, you're going to now split it in smaller paragraphs that each can be a standalone. Like you're doing an interview And if I take that from context, I will understand what you meant. Because LLMs are predictability machines. They work on context. If they don't, I don't know if you remember when we were kids, you were given a text in school and you had few words missing from the sentences, but you could still guess which word was there based on the context of the sentence. Do you remember those exercises? So we do it also now. We skim, so we basically get the context. We don't read each single word. That's also how the LLMs do it. So it's important that you give them enough context and that the context is correct and precise. So the thing that you do it on your web page. Then on LinkedIn, you are writing articles that support what it is that you do, how you solve the problems, which services you offer. You give them opinion because you might have, I don't know, 50 people doing the same service like you, but your process is different from anybody else. So you're going to describe your process there. That also gives you advantage because it gives you authority, it gives you authentic experience, and it gives you, because we want to know you. We don't want to know what AI slop wrote, what ChatGPT wrote about you. I want to know the real person behind it. So you have LinkedIn, you have your own web page, you have YouTube. A lot of people do not feel comfortable on YouTube, so it's not a must. It's a really great channel and it's becoming even bigger now. But you have, as you mentioned, Clutch for certain industries, for marketing, for translations. You have various different listings. For example, for medicine, you have My Doctor, the creation webpage where you can also collect reviews and descriptions of your services. So you need to be omnipresent. You need to detect, for example, you can go into Perplexity, you can ask about your service. And if you see who is recommended there, if you're not there, then you check for that person and that service, which are the sources that they are listed there. So you can basically copy those sources. If you see they are featured on a podcast or they are featured in a magazine, you can always go to that magazine and say, look, I have an interesting topic, or I did a mini research, because then you're giving them original and creative data. Are you interested in that? So this is how I did it end of last year, because in February, ChatGPT and Gemini thought I was a jewelry designer. Nice, but I don't do it. And they also thought I was a wife of a politician because of my surname. And one time I was an HR expert. I don't know why he thought I was in HR, but the jewelry designer I understand because of my brand, because it's very bright and I use peacock as a logo. So, LLM deducted, okay, she is something creative. Let's say that she is jewelry designer. But after I trained it, and I trained it in a way that I changed my webpage, changed about me. I wrote a lot on LinkedIn about the topics that I wanted to be related to. For example, brand mentions, for example, reviews. And let me tell you, 2 weeks after I posted a LinkedIn article, the bigger post, it got picked up by Google for brand mentions. So not even mentioning my name, but just the topic. So this is also the strength of LinkedIn and LinkedIn articles. But also I use the opportunity to reach out to various publications, to be featured on lives, to cooperate with people, to do some educational, let's say, workshops. And this all helped for Google and AI to recognize me and to classify me properly what it is that I do. And now, basically, both Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Gemini give really, really exact data up to what I teach at Plavi Ured and e-commerce academy. So they even have the name of the module. So this is how you need to think in this day and age. It's sometimes overwhelming, but you can, pick 3 things and start with those 3 things, and it will give you immediate return.
Okay, that is really interesting to know. So we need to get from the social media frenzy and more back to the basics, like it was before it. Talking to people, having good PR, and then
Yeah.
also the LLMs and the almighty Google will pick us up.
Yes, because brand mentions or citations, they are now the new backlinks. So before, you either paid or you worked hard also to have a backlink. For example, to have an article in Leader about what it is that you do, that was a huge signal for Google. And if you had a backlink, that was really, really the top that you could do. Now, brand mentions carry 2 times weight of backlinks. So you don't even have to have the link. But if you are cited in a reputable source, like Leader, like Poduzetnik, like Clutch, for example, then that brand mentions builds on your reputation, and it gives another signal to LLMs who you are. Okay, you're reputable. You see, Leader trusts you enough to give you an article. Okay, so you talk about this, it connects your topic, it connects your authority, and then it says, okay, you're good enough for me to to recommend you for this answer.
What I heard here, and we haven't underlined, is that you should go to podcasts as well. If you don't want to have your own YouTube channel, you should
Yeah,
be a guest on places like Seen and Heard, so that
yeah,
you're
definitely.
mentioned that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and what video podcasts? So audio podcasts are not that really important in this context, or?
yes, they are, because if
Oh,
they have a transcript, that can also be picked up. For example, I did a lecture last week on Health and Growth Summit, so mostly medtech. And we were talking about key opinion leaders and brand mentions. So, how it is that today, in this digital age, medtech companies and smaller startups can be recommended, because more than half of B2B businesses is now done through AI. People looking for recommendation for certain services or certain products. So what it is that you can do, and what, for example, Siemens did, they have a huge podcast, not on YouTube, but on Spotify. So it's only audio. They have it on their webpage, and I'm not sure about the third source, so I will not tell a lie. And what they did with that is they had a radiologists from universities in Germany, but also from a hospital in Germany, talking about AI in radiology. And this is what they have been developing lately. So now, when you ask anybody, I tried it like 20 times in Perplexity, it always gave me the same answer, which is very, very difficult to do. There was a research done by Rand Fishkin and Datos, how you are most likely never going to be featured all the time in the same answers. So if you have it to have you recommended each and every time, that's huge deal. So they managed with this podcast, with the relevant people, with the relevant topic, radiologists who have huge authority, who teach at the universities. They managed to build this brand. They managed to build this notion about AI in radiology. So now, when you ask for that topic, Siemens is the only one recommended as the topic number one, but they are not the only one. You still have smaller companies, but you also have Philips, which is also a giant like Siemens, but they are not doing it in a way that Siemens is doing. So Siemens is always recommended. So this is how you can also do it. It can be Spotify, it can be transcript. For example, if you have a transcript on YouTube, LLMs go through videos, but also go through transcripts. So you're featured 2 times. For reviews, Darko, for example, if somebody mentions your service and if you respond quickly, because speed of a response is also one of the signals. So 24 to 48 hours is the best window for you to answer the reviews in order for
Okay,
Google to
you got
see.
me there. I was thinking about seconds. Okay, so 48 hours is just
No, no,
enough.
no.
Speed
40,
is
40.
important, so just waiting for review to answer it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, yes, because then Google sees you, aha, you're reputable, you are talking to your customers, so you're actually an active and live business. You're
Yeah,
not
you have
somebody
nothing else
who,
to do but to answer the reviews.
unfortunately, oh, right on LinkedIn, right? But yeah, it
I
works
don't know
like
how
that.
that translates to good service, but okay.
It says in your review that it's good service. But if you, for example, receive a really good review with expanded notion about your services, you answer it in a way that you confirm that, you repeat what they said, and that gives you additional signal. So you're just building on that.
No, so I can just answer yes, I'm really wonderful. I did a great job, and yes, this is all me. So I just repeat what they said, right? Okay, okay.
Please do not.
It feels a bit like boasting, but well, whatever. If it works, great.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to become more, uh, I hate to say this, but more like Americans. They have no issue talking about what they are good for and what it is they do great. For example, we have always been, taught in our culture, no, you are boasting, you are now bragging. But no, for them, it's just telling you what they're good for. You know, our business does this great, so we want you to know this. And we are always, if somebody liked what I did, they're going to write me a review. No, they're not.
I
That
think
you need to push them.
for sure that's
Okay,
especially
we
relevant
now
for
need to hear the UK perspective.
be humble, be humble and quiet. Absolutely.
One always needs to talk about somebody else.
Definitely let others do the talking and maybe pay, but follow the rules and say this was slightly incentivized.
Just a small gift.
Yes, of course. I was going to say that this is, of course, all very difficult when you're starting off, but you can get into consistency and follow the rules and all of that. But I think where people are especially afraid is when they pivot and they
Mm.
maybe change industries or directions or their branding, especially after maybe 3 or 4 years, they found themselves in their business. So, what do you advise there?
Start from the ground up. Do your audit. Check what Google and LLMs are saying about you now. Put on the paper what it is that you want them to say about you in the future and start working on that. Sorry, my headphone fell out. Start working on that in a way that we talked about. You change your web page, you change your descriptions, you change your LinkedIn descriptions. You need to change everything if you want to pivot. But that has been, from the beginning. If you pivot, you need to change it everywhere. But now it's even more important because most of what we do is online. So anything that you have online, you need to change. Start first with your web page, then Google Business Profile, then LinkedIn, then all your other channels where you are listed. And start earning brand mentions.
And what about your old interviews or reviews and things like that? Should people delete or hide all of those or leave them?
No, I would leave them, because this is what you have done before. Because for me, as I look for my description, it says previously she was also doing digital marketing as a whole. First, it mentions my online reputation management work. Then it says also before she was doing a lot of digital marketing. So it's not a shame that you were doing something different before, and it doesn't make sense. You will never be able to scrape everything from the internet. And I also don't think it's necessary, because that was before. Now you're building something else, and you should also state that you're building something else. You can have a blog on your webpage saying, okay, we are pivoting from now, we're doing now this. So you are very transparent, and you are giving a signal also of switch.
Now, while you were talking about all this info, how to spread the news about your existence and what you do well online, I googled myself briefly, and I got the correct information. And then I tried best English teacher in Croatia to see what happens. And
And
some of the first things that came up were italki, Preply, and these are websites that are sort of like Ubers for teachers,
mm,
where they take a cut from your services, but then you might have another platform for reviews. And we were saying that with time we pay more and more to be visible. So would you recommend people to go to platforms such as those to get more visible, or to start from their own website in this day
you
and
know,
age?
I would always start from owned channels, because this is something that you can control. You don't depend on algorithm. You don't depend on, some companies maybe decide also to do a pivot. Semrush decided to do something else besides SEO. So you depend on them. That's why I would always recommend start with yourself, start with your channels that you fully control, then go to other channels. And if you want to be listed on those pages or not, really depends also on your business model. If you are willing to, work on Upwork, for example, offer your services as a freelancer, it's also a good platform because it has high authority. Same as LinkedIn, same as those pages that you mentioned, same as Clutch. So you piggyback on their authority. So if this fits your business profile and you can, you decided, okay, I'm going to pay a commission to some of the sites in order to get some work, great. But start from your own channels.
Now I'm disappointed. Because
What did you?
Edita gave me an idea to Google for photographers in Croatia, and I'm on page 5 of Google and still not finding my links. And there is no AI overview, so perhaps Gemini doesn't like me anyway, but okay.
It also depends what you asked it, and how you asked it. It's very, very difficult to be featured all the time. So you don't stop at one try. So if you are willing to put in the work, you do 15 to 20 times, and then span it through months, because if you do it only once, you're always going to get different answers. Try it again now, but did you do it in incognito mode?
No, but it would
Uh,
even help me because I'm not in incognito to boast my ego. No, doesn't work that
but
way.
No, but it still would give you better answers, because answers now might also be related to something or somebody else that you Googled, But if you go incognito, it will give you a clean slate and give you the real picture, not connected to your browsing history or something that you talked about and Google listened to.
Okay, but not finding on the first 5 pages does give kind of a trend of where this is going. So okay, I don't think that's going to be much of a difference anyway. What I or someone else needs to do when they have such a problem, they need to start going out on YouTube, start to write more in the style on their website how they can help their customers, right?
They can come to my workshop for first.
Of course, they can come to a workshop, and this is what I just waited for this because we do have a QR code here where we can get help with that.
Yeah. You can get work. I have different various workshops depending if you're a solopreneur or if you're a smaller or a bigger company, and it's basically one-on-one. So we are not doing a group thing where I talk to you. We are doing exactly one-on-one, specifically on your example and what it is that you can do, because it's not the same. It's not the same channels, and it's not the same type of work for everybody. So basically, what you as a solopreneur, Darko, need to do is check everything that's listed about you online. On my webpage, you have free resources. One of them is AI audit. So there you have 12 questions that you can use in order to find either a gap in your visibility, see how the AI is seeing you, which services are you listed for versus your client versus your competitors. Are you targeting your ideal customer with what it is that you're doing now? So it will give you a lot of answers where to start with the content, because you can have a structure but sometimes you don't know what to change in your content. Do this, try to see, or also model upon someone who is your, let's say, not competitor, but maybe a role model. What it is that they are listed for, how are they listed for, what it is that they are writing on their webpage. For example, if I go to look for Darko, you can Google yourself, not just your services, but also you can ask Perplexity what it is that you know about Darko Mareš. And then it will give you data. And then you will ask, okay, why don't you know about this? So you can have a conversation with them. And you can also ask them, okay, pull out all the sources where I'm mentioned. So you will see for what you are mentioned. And then you can start building on that. Maybe you need to change the meta description of your webpage. Instead of photographer for the portraits, you want to be known for something else, so you change the description. If you want to be connected, for example, to certain educations that you do, let's say on Edusa or somewhere, you need to give them structured data. So this is called schema markup. This is a short code that works as a translator between your web page and Google, and between your web page and LLMs. It's basically like, I don't know, Shalabachter, I don't know how you call it, cheat sheet for the AIs, where you tell them, I'm Darko, I want to be related to these services, I'm known for this, but I'm also connected to this service and this education. So you give them a cheat sheet of how to present yourself and your services. So one layer is the content on your web page. The second layer is structured data. And then also the third layer is standard SEO, like the description of your meta page. For example, also what's very important, and people tend to forget that, is that if you're posting on LinkedIn and you have images there, you can also put alt description there. So you write, okay, Darko Mareš presenting, doing portraits, headshots. So you give another signal that connects you to that service that you want to be known for.
He's
I'll
nicely
send you.
demonstrating what everyone should do right now.
No, no, it all sounds great, but too much things. So I think I'll just go to the workshop. When is the next workshop? It's too much for me, and like everything you said in the last 2 minutes, it was just going on and on and on. Oh my God. I need to do this and this and that. I got lost after
Uh,
first few sentences. So
I'm
I'm
sorry
just
for
going
that,
to
Darko.
apply for the workshop. So does it say
He's
somewhere
shocked.
where is the next
Page
workshop?
5 on Google. He needs
No,
help. So
I'm really desperate now. It's better that I didn't look at that.
It's funny. That's an experiment
No,
that
it's
I
not
do with.
funny.
Sorry, Darko. I know it's sometimes, we feel desperate, because I do experiment with all of my clients. When we start, we Google, and we put in the AIs what it is that they know about them. Sometimes they're confused. Okay, why is it saying that? Sometimes we laugh because they often also get results that I received before, telling them they're a famous football player. I'm like, okay, you have nothing to do with football, but AI thinks you're a great footballer. So AI
That's
is
not a
not
bad thing.
broken. No,
Footballers
it's
are
not.
popular. Oh, why not?
Maybe it gives us more money in the future, but yes. But people, get angry at AI. Why is it doing this? They think AI is broken, but it's not doing this in spite of us. It's not doing this to anger us. It's doing what it's made to be doing, because we have not left enough of digital breadcrumbs to feed the AI with the right information about us. So, it's basically about similar to the saying we have in creation, bit by bit, and you get the bread. So it's the same with AI. Every single small thing is going to impact it on the bigger scale. That's why I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I'm sorry, Darko.
No, I'm still going to the workshop, so yeah. No, it's too much for
I'm
me.
waiting for you.
Excellent. Does the language affect anything? Since we're speaking in English, you teach people in Croatian and English. Is there a difference?
Uh, yes, there is, but it's being brought down a bit now. There's something called language silos. So most of the LLMs were trained on English. Most of the LLMs were fed data in English. So English is more natural language for them to pull the data from. But they have gotten better at other languages. But still, if you want, for example, if you want to scale, or if you want to have customers in different countries, it needs to be in English. For example, if you're in Croatia and you want to have Italian customers, you also need to have your data in English, and preferably in Italian. So that language silos is also causing havoc also to B2B companies expanding to various regions, because they have only either page in their native language, or they also have their trust signals, for example, case studies in PDFs. So PDF is something that it's very difficult for LLMs to read. If it's easily clickable on your page as a single page, they will pull it. But if it's something that I need to leave you my email in order to have the case study, then you are hiding that trust signal. So all your case studies, everything that you have done that's in PDF, it also needs to be on your page in a simple text that is going to be citable and easily read. So
Darko's now even more confused, so now I need to do it in several languages.
no, it has gotten really, really better at translation. But yes, if you are really um, going to scale up in the future, then I would definitely recommend to have dual language page. Native and English is a minimum.
I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you for that
I thought
information.
you would be.
You've made me very happy and you've made Darko very depressed. It's a it's a balanced situation.
I mean, Darko, you never know where things are going to take you. I gave the lecture in English last week, and I realized that I don't have a web page in English. So what I did is the next best thing. I translated only one page that was for me mandatory to have there, because I also had the QR code. That so I started with only single page. So it doesn't have to be the whole project, the whole page from the beginning. You pick and choose like your most important ones or your money pages, and you translate just them. You don't have to translate each blog that you have on there.
This day started so nicely, and it's starting to get even worse and worse by every minute. So yeah, okay, one
I'm
page at a
sorry.
time. Okay, it's not
What?
enough
Yeah.
that I have a zero reputation in Croatia. Now I need to do it in English, but at least one page at a time, not all the things at the same moment. But
But
okay.
but but I think you're wrong. You have a reputation. It's just not mentioned online because you have live reputation, from each single of us, and also people who did headshots with you, who did the certain events, unplugged and so on. So you have a reputation. You just need to put it more visibly online.
Okay.
And he thinks just that.
Yeah, just to put it online. Okay.
So, what's going to be the first thing to do in your workshop? What's the first step for everyone watching this who might feel equally overwhelmed?
So we start with audit. What is the current state? What it is everything that we are being mentioned for correct? Is all of our data correct? If we are not being mentioned, okay, then we need to look at why. So, depending on what it is that we find, that's the course of next steps for us. So if we find that something is not listed properly, if it's an old telephone, if it's an old address, then we fix that. We change the data there. For example, you might have changed your name, but it still pulls your last name that you had before. You changed the address of your business. So all of that data needs to be very correct, because in order for Google also to know good things about you and to list you on the first page, everything needs to be very consistent. It's also called NAP, NAP, name, address, phone. So it needs to be in the same format. If you are listing on your web page first telephone, then the address and name, then it needs to be listed like that everywhere. But it's usually the correct is name, address, phone, and the way you have it everywhere. So, and also sometimes if you are writing the name of the street, it needs to be written the same everywhere. So this is what we check at the beginning, okay, if everything is correct. If nothing is being said about you, okay, what it is that we wanted to say about you. So we are going to choose the channels. We're going to make a plan for next 3 months on the activities that we are going to focus, and we are going to check each month our progress. And at the end of 3 months, how it's going to look for you now, because now you have also given it a lot of information. It also depends on the clients, on work that they can do timeline wise, because not everybody has 5 hours a week to input for this. So we scale. So if we know, okay, you have only 2 hours a week, we're not going to say, okay, you need to be here and here and here and here. No, we're going to choose two channels that are most important for you, that are going to bring you most out of it. So we're doing only just that. So it's very individual from person to person, because also different industries are not the same. The competition in different industries, or maybe even different regions of Croatia or Europe, are not the same. So we customize it to each and every one of them.
So, first, some detective work. So, those who are watching, if you haven't Googled yourself, do it now. Ask all of your LLM friends. And then, when you start panicking, go to this link and find some guidance that you'll need, because it's a daunting process, and it's kind of the foundation of your online business. So it's something to pay attention to for sure.
There's a lot of things that we can change, reputation also being one of them, but reputation is one of the most important things that we can have about our personal brand and our business in the end. Because people are going to talk about you whether you like it or not, or whether you want it or track it or not. They're going to be mentioning you in maybe some obscure forum. But this workshop and the work that we are doing is me teaching you how you can control your own narrative and how you can control what's being said about you, not leaving it to the chance.
Absolutely. Well, everyone's been quiet in the chat. They're all busy Googling themselves and being shocked that they are actually an Argentinian footballer or whatever.
Not bad.
So once you're done with that, have a peek at this link. And if they have any questions before, I suppose they can contact you on LinkedIn. Is that where you are
Yeah,
the most active?
yeah, definitely LinkedIn or email on my webpage, but mostly LinkedIn. I answer to every single message.
Excellent. Maybe in video sometimes?
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
That I leave to Darko. He does it really, really good. I cannot top him, so I'm not going to try.
And still, there are no results. So, yeah.
You're just ahead
I
of the
must be
curve.
doing it in a wrong way.
Your
You do
time
it
is coming.
privately.
I could just can't wait for the workshop. So, yeah. Let's just leave
Looking
it at
forward
that.
to it.
Uh,
Thank you, Thea, so much for this lovely interview that left me speechless. And Edita, you wanted to say something?
I wanted to thank you for the extra time as well, because you've given us a lot of your time, attention, and information. So we really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome, and thank you for having me as a guest.